Mom, its owner decided to bring her a small kitten. At first, Irma seemed skeptical, but in time embraced the role of the kitten's mother. They are now inseparable, with Irma insisting that Kitty sleep with her. Wherever the kitten goes, Irma is right there. Motherly love.
With intern Louie, that's this week's edition of Lola's Lowdown.
I always love these wedding prank things. There's another story with dogs at a wedding we'll run next week.
All right, very good.
Louie's almost ready to graduate from his internship.
That's right.
Keep an eye out for that.
Have a good weekend, everybody.
We'll see you back here on Monday. News 3 at 5 starts right now.
And right now on News 3 at 5, several towns in Dodge and Jefferson counties are seeing the aftermath from heavy rains in the area. We will have a live report from Watertown.
What one county is doing to make sure that people in their communities are confident in election results.
And the final Bucky on Parade statue has been revealed. The artist describes the inspiration.
This is News 3 at 5.
And thanks for staying with News 3. Many towns in our area feeling the effects from flood warnings and heavy rainfall this morning. Watertown seeing some of the more severe effects.
Our Jamie Perez joins us where several cars and people were rescued this morning. Jamie?
Well, I am surrounded by water here in Watertown. A lot of people saying that the town's name is very fitting for the amount of water they received last night. Now, we did speak with several residents today who said they weren't expecting the water levels to get this high. From road closures and flooded streets.
This is a pretty lot of rain for the area.
To water leaking into basements.
My basement had a little bit of water in it, but it wasn't bad. We managed.
Watertown was one of the most impacted areas from the flood warnings.
Pretty much rained all night long. This morning I went out and found the rain gauge at 7.5, 8 inches last night, for just the course of the night.
Justin Wagner is at the top of the hill on his street, but knows how it goes on the other side.
Quick Trips at the bottom, they just finally raised it up about 2 years ago or so to basically prevent any floods that they had in the past. But it's got I'd say it's got a good at least 3 feet of rain on the bottom side from the sidewalk.
The water levels so high this morning, 4 people and 3 vehicles had to be rescued.
But I checked that out and I was like, oh, the road's closed.
John Ganther saw it all.
I saw the aftermath of those 2 vehicles that went in the, drove into the pond, and it's Watertown Lake.
That's how you guys got the name Watertown, right?
Yeah.
He wasn't the only one standing around capturing the moment, but it did give John an exciting Friday afternoon.
It gave me plans today.
It did? What do you?
I wasn't doing anything today, so I got to come check out the water, enjoy some water in Watertown, and, you know.
Pretty fitting.
Yep.
Until the city can drain the new lake in town, Watertown residents remain on standby.
The sewer system takes care of a lot of the water and it flows like it should, but we'll see what happens.
A lot of the areas in Watertown felt the effects of the flood and the water levels rising so high, including their football team. Their 7 o'clock game that was scheduled for tonight is being rescheduled for tomorrow night at 7 p.m. So hopefully by then the field will be a little less muddy and mucky and everything will be good to go then.
Yeah, we hear it's totally unplayable tonight. Jamie Perez live in Watertown. Jamie, thank you. And roads are closed in Marshall as well after the heavy rains and the flooding. Officials say a section of Box Elder Road in the town of Medina is closed. They say water running across the roadway there. They're asking residents to avoid that area. Berlin Road by Deansville also closed. Officials are asking for volunteers to help them fill some sandbags. Anyone interested in helping can go to the town garage. That's located on Highway 19 right there across from Little America. Officials would also like to remind people to keep children away from that fast-moving water.
Those heavy rains flooded a section of Interstate 43 in the Milwaukee area, leaving several drivers stranded this morning. The North Shore Fire Department responded to the scene to help drivers, some of whom were sitting atop their flooded cars. 4 people had to be rescued and 2 others got out on their own. No one was hurt. The flooding happened where recent construction has narrowed the highway.
So right now, those areas need a little time to dry out. Let's go to Dave Caulfield in the Weather Center to see if they'll be able to, Dave.
I think this weekend, Eric, we do have plenty of opportunities to dry out, but this evening, still a couple of showers and thunderstorms out there, notably still north of Watertown, closer to Fond du Lac and just to the north and east of the Wisconsin Dells. So those batches of thunderstorms will continue to move to the south, so don't put that umbrella away yet if it's not completely waterlogged. Downtown Madison on the Edgewater Skycam looking a lot better than earlier this morning. A little bit of sunshine showing up currently at 81 degrees with partly sunny skies, north-northeast wind at 7 miles per hour. That dew point still very high, close to 70 degrees. Temperatures are in the 70s and 80s across southern Wisconsin. Dew points right around 70, so that humidity really not letting up at all, even after all the rain we have received this evening. A slight chance of a shower or a thunderstorm, mild and partly cloudy, with temperatures falling through the 80s and into the upper 60s. Coming up in just a few minutes, we'll talk about drier weather on the way, and your first alert forecast coming up right after this.
All right, thank you, Dave. We're learning more about the fatal crash that happened on Interstate 39 this morning. State Patrol dispatchers say the crash was reported around 5:20 on I-39 southbound at Highway 151. Troopers say a car driven by a 24-year-old man was headed south when he lost control and hit a median barrier. A pickup truck tried to avoid the car but hit it, which caused a second vehicle to hit the car. The passenger in the car, a 20-year-old woman, was killed in the crash. The driver of the car was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The drivers of the other vehicles were not injured, and no names have been released. Sauk City officials were called to the 700 block of Carolina Street in the village of Sauk City just before noon for a report of multiple employees feeling ill. When firefighters arrived, employees were evacuating the building. Firefighters and fire personnel evaluated the air quality and did not find any level of carbon monoxide or other hazardous gases in the building. Sauk Prairie EMS looked at 11 employees who were complaining of headaches. All were treated at the scene, and employees were able to return to the building after about a half hour.
Health officials said this year's first human case of West Nile virus in Wisconsin has now been reported. The Department of Health Services says the case involves a Dane County resident. Now, most human cases in the state occur in August and September. Experts say the risk of getting West Nile or other mosquito-borne illnesses is present anytime mosquitoes are active, and say it's important for people to be vigilant about preventing mosquito bites throughout summer and early fall.
There is a new effort tonight by county clerks to make sure that people feel confident in election results.
Wisconsin Elections Commission now issuing guidance to clerks who want to review their primary results. Rose Schmidt in the News Center to explain the extensive process here. Rose?
Now, this auditing is not required by state law, and it's something county clerks can choose to do. But it takes a lot of work and sometimes more resources than those clerks' offices even have. One county that will conduct one of these audits, Rock County. The clerk's office will tear open the sealed packages filled with paper ballots that came out of the voting machines. Then they'll compare those results with the tapes where the machines recorded those votes.
Because we have so much election security in different layers in the state of Wisconsin, we're pretty confident in how our elections are, or in the results that we're getting. But it doesn't mean we shouldn't look and do that extra step just to make sure.
The Rock County clerk says her office randomly chose to examine the ballots from a specific race in 2 different reporting units. That's a term that refers to one ward or a group of wards. They chose one race in 3 wards in the town of Milton and another race in a ward for the city of Janesville. The Rock County clerk's office will conduct these pre-certification audits on Monday during the County Board of Canvass. Now on News 3 at 6, we'll hear from the spokesperson for the Wisconsin Elections Commission. He'll tell us some of the other counties around the state performing these post-election audits.
All right, Rose Schmidt at our News Center tonight. Rose, thank you.
The rainy weather isn't stopping officers and firefighters fundraising around southern Wisconsin. Local police officers and firefighters were on rooftops or sidewalks at numerous Dunkin' Donuts locations today, raising money for Special Olympics. The event is a law enforcement torch run fundraising event, and all of the money raised will be donated to Special Olympics Wisconsin. One athlete says Special Olympics has changed his life.
Before I started Special Olympics, I was in a hole. I didn't know where I was going in my life. And then one day I went to one basketball practice, and then bam, look where I am today. So, you know, it helps me, you know, get a job. It helps me just love life and just try to think positive, and that's because of Special Olympics.
Anyone who stopped by and made a donation received a coupon for a free coffee. 6 Dunkin' Donuts locations in Dane County participated in the fundraising event.
All right, here it is. The 85th Bucky on Parade statue revealed today. Crazy Legs Bucky unveiled at the UW-Madison Police Department this morning. The public art project features 85 6-foot-tall Bucky Badger statues painted, glued, outfitted to reflect various themes. stationed throughout Dane County. Rick Yankee, the artist of this statue, says he wants everyone to know about the legend of the late Elroy Crazy Legs Hirsch.
Crazy Legs isn't just a race they hold every summer in Madison. He was really quite a man. He was sought after everywhere he went. He succeeded in everything he did. He changed our university's football program around. And I don't know, I think the whole city owes him a debt.
That's some pretty impressive work there. The statues will be on display through September 12th, and most will be auctioned off at a final party September 29th or in an online silent auction.
Yeah, the back is even
something?
cooler than the front,
Really
Rick.
good.
Amazing work. There will be more police officers along the side of our roadways as summer comes to a close. The Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over campaign starts today and runs through Labor Day. Hundreds of extra officers and deputies will be looking for drunk drivers leading up to the holiday. The Department of Transportation reports drunk driving crashes caused more than 160 deaths and 3,000 injuries in the state last year.
An organization that started as a way to honor the father of Badger head basketball coach Greg Gard is raising money to support other cancer patients this weekend. Glenn Gard lost his battle with brain cancer 6 months after his diagnosis. His wife Connie started the Iowa County Cancer Coalition in February of last year and is now hosting the organization's second annual fundraiser. Starts at 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, the Iowa County Fairgrounds in Mineral Point. Tomorrow night there will be a luminary ceremony to celebrate cancer survivors and also remember those lost. All the money raised goes to cancer patients undergoing treatment. More to come on News 3 at 5. Investigators searching for a motive after a man is accused of killing his pregnant wife and 2 children. What family friends say could be the reason.
And why President Trump is canceling the military parade that had been scheduled for November.
And on Wall Street to end the week, the Dow gaining more steam, a 110-point jump, its highest close in almost 6 months now. The Nasdaq added 10, the S&P up 9, and we'll be right back. Investigators are searching for a motive after a man was arrested for killing his pregnant wife and 2 daughters in Colorado.
Yesterday, police recovered a body believed to be Shanann Watts on an oil field where her husband Chris worked. Bodies believed to be the daughters, Bella and Celeste, were also found nearby. Friends Nicholas and Amanda Thayer say Shanann expressed concerns about infidelity.
It came to her mind that possibly he could be cheating.
As horrible as this outcome is, our role now is to do everything that we can to determine exactly what occurred and assist in filing a thorough case.
Chris Watts is expected to be formally charged with 3 counts of murder in the first degree on Monday.
President Donald Trump announced he is canceling plans for that military parade in November. He tweeted, quote, "The local politicians who run Washington, D.C. know a windfall when they see it. When asked to give us a price for holding a great celebratory military parade, they wanted a number so ridiculously high that I canceled it," end quote. D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser tweeted back saying the city's cost would run about $21 million. That's less than a third of the $92 million price tag from the Pentagon. Some lawmakers on Capitol Hill expressed opposition to the parade, as did some veterans groups.
It's our military tradition to do parades at the conclusion of conflicts. You know, we saw it at the end of the Gulf War. We saw it at the end of World War II. Our main concern was the timing, the cost, and then, if you have the VAs underfunded right now, we ought to put the money towards that.
President Trump says the military parade could take place next year.
More than a dozen former U.S. intelligence officials have signed a letter condemning the Trump administration for revoking former CIA Director John Brennan's security clearance. President Trump defended his decision. He didn't deny the decision was made because he views Brennan as one of the people who helped bring about the special counsel investigation of the Trump campaign's possible collusion with Russia.
It's a disgusting thing, frankly. Look, I say it again. That whole situation is a rigged witch hunt.
You can agree or disagree with what John has done since he retired, but we all agree that he has the right to say it.
The White House has listed several other former intelligence officials whose clearances are now under review. They include former Director of National Intelligence James Clapper and former CIA Director Michael Hayden, who also signed the letter.
More tributes are pouring in for the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin, who passed away at her home in Detroit yesterday at the age of 76 from pancreatic cancer. Music legend Stevie Wonder grew emotional on CBS this morning, recalling his last visit to his longtime friend and frequent collaborator, Smokey Robinson, who has known Aretha Franklin since they were children growing up together in Detroit, says the legendary singer may be gone, but her music will live on.
She has left us with a musical legacy that kids who haven't even been born yet will get a chance to experience.
Fellow musicians are planning to honor the Queen of Soul in a big way with an all-star tribute concert. That'll be in November at Madison Square Garden. MTV also announced it will pay tribute to the trailblazing 18-time Grammy winner at this Sunday's VMA Awards.
Let's head out to the weather patio. Dave Caulfield is watching the weekend forecast. Dave?
Well, Susan and Eric, finally, most of us getting a break from the rain that really has not stopped for the past couple of days. This evening, a couple more showers and thunderstorms may find us, but other than that, as we head into Saturday and Sunday, we should remain dry, and we really do need that. We had a lot of what we call precipitable water in the air. Really, it goes hand in hand with humidity, meaning that if rain does form, it could really rain a lot in a short amount of time, and that's what we have seen over the past couple of days. Look at this 48-hour precipitation estimate across much of the upper Midwest. And as we zoom in closer to Madison, 6 to 8 inches, even locally heavier amounts possible in where you see that red stripe right close to Watertown, and we definitely saw the effects of that earlier in this newscast and earlier today. August precipitation in Madison, we're now over 4.5 inches of rain just over the last few days. We've gotten almost 3 inches of rain at the airport. Definitely locally heavier amounts possible. Watertown, the official marking there, 8.6 inches of rain in just the last 24 hours. No wonder we saw those incredible flooding photos. Waterloo, about 5.5 inches of rain. In Milton, 5.35. Deerfield, about 4.5 over the last couple of days. And Milford at 3.8. Heavy rainfall causing scenes like this in Watertown. Look at that. The car almost completely submerged, and this really brings to the forefront something that meteorologists say time and time again: turn around, don't drown. If you encounter flooding, there's just no possible way to know how deep that water truly is, and cars can be submerged and problems can be caused very quickly when flooding arises. Flood warning in effect for Dodge and Jefferson counties until 12:15 tomorrow afternoon. Hopefully not too much rain heading that way, although some showers and thunderstorms showing up on Doppler track just to the north of that area, closer to the Wisconsin Dells and moving through Fond du Lac. So a couple more showers could be possible. Let's have those umbrellas handy, hopefully not too waterlogged already. Our time lapse in Madison showing heavy rain through much of the morning, but then thankfully, finally, the sunshine came out, and we're dealing with that sunshine right now on the WISC-TV Skycam. We could definitely deal with a little bit more sunshine over the next couple of days, and I think we finally will get that. Temperatures in the 70s and 80s. Unfortunately, even with all this rain, our dew points are still very high, so some areas of fog possible overnight. High temperature trend, we will be in the 70s Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, but back into the 80s Thursday and Friday. The only drawback of this weekend is it's a little bit on the warm side for some of us, but we'll take it. We can take the warm and dry weather and finally start to kind of wring out the rain on all of our clothes and really everything else. Tonight, chance of an evening storm, then partly cloudy and mild. Areas of fog forming overnight with temperatures in the low 60s. Tomorrow, partly sunny and warm. Highs will be in the low 80s. Future track showing things wrapping up pretty quickly over the next couple of hours in terms of any rain or showers or thunderstorms. Fog will greet us early Saturday morning, excuse me. Then future track trying to bring some rain showers. I'm not allowing it, folks. I will personally see to it that no more rain falls this weekend. Some more fog possible early on Sunday, and temperatures in the 80s for this weekend. So the rain-free streak does end on Monday because some more showers and thunderstorms are possible Monday and Tuesday. As we take a look at the 7-day forecast, temperatures back into the 80s by the middle of next week. So let's take a look at your first alert traffic update, taking a live look at Park Street and the Beltline. A little bit slow go in both directions, but not looking too bad. No major accidents or incidents to report across Dane County, but in a lot of areas for southern Wisconsin, even though that rain has stopped, you still may encounter those flooded roadways. So remember, turn around, don't drown. A couple brake lights closer to Stoughton Road and through that stretch from Park Street to John Nolan Drive, but things are looking a little bit better closer to Seminole Highway, as you might expect. Your drive times, Verona Road to John Nolan, that's 7 minutes eastbound, average speed of around 35 miles per hour, a little bit slow in that same stretch westbound as well, with an average speed of around 40 miles per hour. And that is your first alert traffic update. Finally, we can take a couple of breaths and dry out for the next couple of days.
Good news.
Yes.
Thanks a lot, Dave.
Ahead on News 3 at 5, the FDA has approved the first generic rival to EpiPen, how it could change the pharmaceutical market. That's next. The Food and Drug Administration has approved the first generic rival to EpiPen.
The self-injecting device used to treat potentially life-threatening allergic reactions has faced a number of issues in recent years, including shortages and notoriously high prices. Anna Werner reports on how the new generic drug sold by Teva Pharmaceuticals could shake up the market.
It kind of does scare me.
11-year-old Sam Brunson is like millions of Americans. He suffers from a severe nut allergy, which means having an EpiPen like this one could be a matter of life or death. But in May, the FDA reported a shortage of EpiPens due to a manufacturing issue. Demand left many pharmacies bare.
The shortage is a really big problem. It didn't matter who I called. I could not find it.
Parents like Sam's mother, Megan Brunson, have been stocking up on EpiPens as the back-to-school season begins. Brunson finally tracked one down, but then ran into another problem.
It's about $700 or just shy of $700 for one box. And I really needed to have the generic.
The drug maker Mylan faced backlash after the price of its EpiPen soared from just over $100 in 2009 to more than $600 in 2016. The company put out a cheaper $300 version following criticism from Congress. Teva Pharmaceuticals will make the new generic EpiPen, but it's unclear when it will be available or exactly how much it will cost. In a statement, the company said, "We're applying our full resources to this important launch in the coming months and are eager to begin supplying the market." Dr. John LaPook is the CBS News chief medical correspondent.
You don't want price to have to come into that to decide, well, you know what, I would have had this life-saving medication with me, but it was just too expensive.
And for the Brunson family, that's a decision they face every day.
It is just not even feasible for a household income, no matter who you are, to write over a check for $700.
Anna Werner, CBS News, New York.
And stay with us. We'll have another check of your forecast in just a moment. Finally, at 5, a diehard Packers fan and lifelong Steelers supporter got married before those teams played last night.
Justin and Katie Kokan have been dating for 9 years. They say when they saw their teams were going to play each other, they thought before the game at Lambeau Field was the perfect time and the perfect place to tie the knot. Katie was probably a little happier than Justin. After the game, the Packers defeated the Steelers 51-34.
Yeah, burn that jacket. Can't wear that at Lambeau Field. So the rain, we need things to dry out here.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe a little bit of rain on their wedding day, and for us, a lot of it. But Doppler track showing a couple more showers and storms out there, but they'll be out of here by the next 2 to 3 hours. It seems like 12 hours, but drier days are ahead.
I'll see you in 30 minutes on News 3 at 6. CBS Evening News coming your way next.